Hello, beer tubers, and welcome to yet another Barley Wember-themed beer review with me, Peter the Master Papa, is joined by
Mr. Just Michael.
Yes, and we're trying some very exclusive barley wine today because there was only 36 bottles of each made, and they are from Pleasanti Street, a nano brewery in Denmark, stroke home brewery, but technically nano now because it's commercial. It is actually a business. So we've reviewed Pleasanti Street in the past. We reviewed Stellar, and this is variations of Stellar. So Stellar was a mind-blowing barley wine, like one of the best barley wine I had from Denmark. Amazing stuff. I've tried one of these variants, a couple of them. I've not tried the port wine one, but I've tried the double barrel, which is one of the ones we're trying, which was also really good. Tried it at MBCC. I mean, what's crazy is Patrick, who runs this, has actually been pouring his beers at MBCC and showcasing them there. But one thing a lot of people fail to mention, which is silly, we also need to mention Øllebrødre, who are actually collaborating on this barley wine. This is another homebrew project. I don't think they're running it as a nano brewery where they are selling beer, but they've done quite a few collabs together with Pleasanti Street. Also, like they've done some collabs with Pulpit Rock and I think also Forager, actually.
Okay.
Where they actually went to the States to brew with them. But we're trying two variants today that we actually got from Pleasanti Street from Patrick. So thanks to Patrick for the beer. We did a beer trade. So I'm really stoked to be trying these.
Me too.
Yeah, you've never tried them.
Never.
Yeah, so we're trying some really, really good shit today. So we're starting with the Stellar Red. Parenthesis red. It's not, doesn't say red anywhere on the label here, but there's two Stellars from 24, the regular one and the port wine edition. So what Stellar is a big barley wine. I've heard some people talk about calling it syrup wine. I think Patrick actually said himself that some brewers suggested that he should call it syrup wines. But basically the way they're made is that they brew barley wine, take some of it and reduce it to a barley syrup, basically a malt extract that they feed the beer with. And then this version, instead of you doing the barley extract, they did a port wine extract. So they just took a lot of port wine, boiled it down to make it sweeter, and fed that to the beer. I think they feed it during fermentation, and then barrel age. Mm-hmm. And this one is then the double barrel age Stellar. So Stellar Red, double barrel age Stellar.
Is this two bourbon barrels? Or
yeah, no. So this
it says here wood for double oak bourbon barrel, and then aged further in distillery 291 maple syrup X rye barrel.
Yeah, so rye barrels and then had maple syrup. And distillery 291 do a lot of these small format barrels that homebrewers can use. Rasmus from Bad Seed, did you try his?
Yeah.
Yes, that was in those barrels. Oh, I think, and then Woodford Reserve also does some small format barrels. So they had these small format barrels so that you don't have to age 200 liters, for example. But the thing with those is also that you don't necessarily need to age as long because there's less beer with a very big surface area. So you can get the impact of barrel aging quicker. So you suggested we started with the non-double, the regular, the red version, which is the regular with the port wine syrup. Yep. So let's do that. So pours a very modern barley wine color, very thick looking,
dark,
very dark brown, almost black.
Reddish note.
Yeah, there's some reddish notes. A small amount of head, not a lot.
Looks nice.
Yeah, it looks nice and rich. Let's check out the aroma. Oh, that smells really good.
That's hefty.
That is quite the different aromatics than the beer we just had.
Yeah.
Feels really, really modern.
It does.
Huge bourbon barrel quality. I'm getting loads of nutty notes for some reason.
Nutty?
Hmm?
I get so much barrel and port wine.
Loads of charry wood as well, like charry bourbon. Tobacco.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
Chocolate
kind of
coated.
a chocolate.
What is it called? the Anton plums and Madeira.
Yeah, I can see that. But definitely, I totally see the port wine notes as well. I'm almost getting a slightly smoky vibe, like a smoky edge from the barrel. Lots of like raisiny, biggy, dark fruity notes.
Definitely. And all
it
soaked
smells
in
fucking
spirits.
Great.
Yeah, it really smells good.
Let's try it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks. Wow.
Fuck. This is
just
crazy.
amazing. Yeah, it is crazy. Wow.
Do you see that smokiness?
It's so juicy. It's so juicy.
It sounds weird to say juicy, but it's that full-on sweet fudginess. It's making it almost
it's not dry.
juicy.
It's just, it makes your saliva go nuts.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, this drinks like American hype. For sure. Like, totally. There's so much port wine. I'm getting much more port wine than in the aroma.
And if you take a juicy plum, soaking just with, it's just mouth cooling.
A lot of residual sweetness, but
chocolate.
it's not too much because there's a lot of booze from the barrel to cut through
Sweet dark chocolate. Not that bitter, but sweet dark chocolate.
They're
Fudge.
almost a little bit like you said, plum and Madeira or Moncherie. There's a bit of a cherry vibe almost.
I did also see that.
The port wine is really nice and vinous. You totally also sense that it's been a rye barrel because there's some sharpness, spiciness or something.
There's a bit of spiciness too.
Which is really nice.
This is just phenomenal.
It's a home.
Yeah,
it's not a homebrew. It's a nano brew.
If this was blind, I mean,
you'd think it was an American hype brewery. You'd think it was up there with some of the greats.
I totally agree.
Fuck, that is delicious.
It is amazing.
I'm really digging that slightly smoky edge. I wonder if that's the char from barrel, but also maybe the reduction of the port wine.
Very slight.
Yeah, but it's cool.
Very slight. Can you say that?
Very slight. Yes, I think you can. Really rich and decadent and layered. So much caramel and toffee. Almost like a burnt caramel a little bit. Like
when you said Moncherie.
Yeah, you can.
Totally. Yeah. I cannot taste anything. But
I think more that it's more Moncherie than plum and Madeira because it's like dark fruity. The idea of marrying barley wine with fortified wines is really cool. Like this is fucking world class.
It is. And I think it's not often I get that wow feeling, but I mean, this is up there.
Yeah. Oh fuck! I love that like smoky cherry port wine.
It's just this is really good.
Do you dare move on to the next one?
Let's move on to the next one.
So this one was double barrel aged. This is the maltier version, but double barrel aged in. It was Woodford Reserve and also one of these Maple X rye barrels from 291. So this one also doesn't really have much head. You're already smelling. Okay, so I'm gonna do as well.
There is no head to talk about.
It smells really good. Smells much more intense on the barrel than the other one.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think it has a bit more of a sharp barrel character. Actually, when you jump up, maybe not.
No.
Interesting.
It's the other way around for me. This is more spooky in the nose.
The smokiness is just, I love it. I want it like smoked.
It is
wine.
fantastic.
Just an edge of smoked malt.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pleasanti, we need to do a wine. No.
And then take Tom.
Yeah.
And then make it 35%.
Yeah. 35% of wine aged in red wine barrels.
That would be a crazy one.
That would be very crazy. This is very sharp on the spirit character, I think. Loads of spicy rye.
This is more spirity, but this is more sharp. I can see that.
Yeah, and I think that's because it's double barrel aged. It also has a lot of that caramel toffee fudge, but this is like first and foremost loads of barrel. Like loads. Also honey notes to this one. And I think, they're sticky now. Also honey notes, but I feel like...
that's honey notes. I was just about to say that.
And it's not as vinous. It's more like deep layers of caramel and fudge. It doesn't have that edge. Like,
because there is no port wine syrup. It's definitely different.
I'm aging in port wine, like doing the port wine syrup edition and aging it in a port wine barrel as well. Like, bourbon first and then finish in a port wine barrel for a few months. That would be really interesting to see how that would turn out. But it's lots of ideas.
I mean, port wine barrel aging is not always a success.
But the beers that are often put in those barrels are not of this caliber. They're not that rich.
But I mean, sometimes it lacks sweetness and stuff because you...
But that's why you go in a bourbon barrel first. Get all that fudge and vanilla and complexity, and then you can finish it, like in the other barrel. But fuck, this smells good as well. Much more caramelized honey type notes. Yeah. And you can smell that the vinous character in this.
It doesn't smell as juicy.
It doesn't have the... I think the juiciness of that is the port wine. And I like this doesn't have the same, grape characteristic. It's more caramel fudge bomb. Like
I agree. More traditional barley wine.
Yeah. And maybe if there's some dark fruit, it's more like figgy.
Yeah.
Fresh figs or caramelized figs.
I totally agree.
Because this has that juiciness of maybe a cherry.
Yeah.
Well,
this is more brown notes. The other one is more reddish.
Yes.
If you can say that.
You can't say that. Well, let's try it. Cheers.
Cheers. Not as carbonated.
No, much more fudge though. Much more honey.
It seems a bit sweeter too.
Yeah, but I think, what's the ABV on it?
Damn.
This is stronger. 14.5. And this is 13.8. I'm guessing the port wine in this maybe helps cut some of it. Or maybe this one is just finished at a different gravity. I'm not sure. But it could also just be the sensation of CO2. Because this is quite low carbonated.
Yeah.
So it makes it feel like it's sweeter maybe.
Perhaps it definitely feels sweeter. Almost syrupy or...
I don't think it's also really almondy, this one, compared to the... I definitely prefer the red version.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's the most unique. This is definitely hype barley wine. This is also crazy hype barley wine territory. But this one is just more unique. It's also, it's definitely quite barrel heavy. But I don't know. There's just something about the balance in this one that's better.
Rating wise.
Now wait, let's discuss a little bit more flavors here. Because...
Wait.
Yeah. I know you're down to rate your beers here, but...
I'm down to rate my beers.
We just got this in the glass. We should analyze this a bit.
I want to give this...
a bit of a cola bean vibe for me here too.
Cola bean?
Yeah, cola-esque note. Lots of that caramelized honey, almonds, lots of vanilla, maybe even a coconut note. Very fudgy, very, very caramelly. I love the addition of the fruit.
I could have had a little more carbonation in this, but I mean, that's nitpicking.
I mean, this also doesn't have a lot of carbonation. It's just slightly higher, especially now it sits in the glass. It's definitely not a lot.
But I mean, that little bit is just enough to prickle on the tongue.
Yeah.
It makes it more drinkable.
There's some rich beers. You can definitely sense there's a lot of sugar, residual sweetness in them. But I totally think they're like American hype territory type beers.
Definitely.
World-class beers.
Definitely.
But I definitely prefer the red.
Yeah, me too.
That is really fucking unique.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I have a thing for grape stuff in barley wine.
But I mean, this also cuts the sweetness perfectly. Mm-hmm. This is just, it's very sweet.
There's a touch of acidity to it. I don't know if that's perceived from the port wine syrup.
This is more like a ruby and tawny.
Yeah. Really? Ruby and tawny.
Yeah.
Tawny. Tawny and ruby.
Tawny. As you call it.
The fun thing is
I would like myself a tawny port wine.
my mother's boyfriend, he doesn't say tawny, he says 20.
20?
20.
Is he from
20.
Africa?
No. He's from... he's from Dragør. He says 20. 20. Så det er en god 20 på.
This was amazing.
You wanted to grade first?
Thanks
to Tom Patrick.
Thanks for this. It's a treat for me to finally try it. I've heard people talk about it, so it is nice. I think this is something... This one is somewhere between 96, 97 for me, and this one is 100. I gotta say, I don't have anything to change about this. It's amazing. I mean it. It's for me, at least. I really think it's amazing beer. Yeah, I don't have I know when I drink it from the first sip if it's 100, and I think this one I was not in doubt. It is.
Boom. So, are you ready for this? I'm gonna give him 88. No.
You really don't like him.
I really don't like him. No, they're fucking world class. I can tell you I'm not on 100 with it, but that's because I can't help but comparing this a little bit to A Deal with Evil. Because there's notes in this that remind me of A Deal with Evil, the Anchorage version, which for me is one of the best barley wines I've ever had. It's still up there. I saved that bottle. It's so great. And it's closer. It's close. It's not all the way there. So I'm only going to give this a 98.
Yeah.
But this is still the new best Danish barley wine I've had, I would say. And then this one, I'm going to go 95. 96. World class, amazing stuff. But I think it just, maybe it's because we had this on the side, but it gets more one note. It's not one note, but it's more one note than this. And it feels like something you've definitely also tried a few times. Not that it has to be, new. It's world class. I think it's a benchmark example of barley wine.
I think the one thing that this needs a little more carbonation, a little less sweet. This has both.
Yeah, and then
it cuts the sweetness. It's super juicy and it has a little more carbonation.
For me, some of the best to deal with the devil beers where they're double whatever and stuff like that. It's like that you can really see that barrel just like it's like a knife or a spear that just cuts through everything. And it lacks that a little bit. It's still world class barley wine, but it just lacks that barley wine spearing effect that Anchorage does. Like Anchorage,
I had a little bit the same with the Brew 5000, 4000 from Fremont.
It lacks that like something like completely cuts.
Yeah, it's amazing to drink and it's sweet,
world
it's delicious,
class,
it's soft. But this one is unique.
But the spear in this, I think it's the port wine. I think that's...
I totally agree.
I actually think Patrick and Øllebrødre, Pleasanti and Øllebrødre, should work more with the port wine extract than port wine syrup, than the barley syrup. And maybe also work with syrups of other fortified beverages. But I'll go out on a limb as well and say the best Danish barley wine. And this can compete with the best of the States. The only one that tops it for me, as I said, is Anchorage when they're perfect.
And I don't.
But Anchorage also sometimes scores 98, so basically it's as good as Anchorage.
That's a good grade.
So 100's even better grade. But and we're not just trying to hype Pleasanti and Øllebrødre and toot their horn.
I don't know you, Patrick. No. I don't know you. No. So.
But we're just we're honest folk in these videos, and we speak our minds, and that's why I also said, I don't feel exactly 100, because when you feel 100, you need to feel it instantly. When you drink a beer and it's 100, you know it from the first sip.
As I said, for me, I know it from the first sip I have.
If you guys had a chance to try either of these, let us know what you thought of them. Thanks a ton again to Patrick for the beers. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page, Twitter, and Instagram. This is a long video, sorry for that, but it is merited with this beers. And we're going to say cheers in our favorites. Actually, I'm going to say cheers in the other one because I want to savor that. But cheers and see you guys in another beer review.